Is God an extortionist when he says, "Obey me completely or I'll torture you forever"? The answer is hell yes. It couldn't be more obvious. But apparently, when it comes to religion, we have to argue about basic logic.
It's not really free will if God says, worship me and obey all my commands, or else I'm going to kill you and then torture you for all of eternity. That's called extortion.
Yes, the classic God is an extortionist argument.
Ah yes, the classic let's pretend threatening someone with eternal torture is totally normal argument.
Let's break this one down because it's a mess. First, extortion is when someone forces another person to give them money, property, or services through threats, intimidation, or coercion.
Right. Something of value is always demanded, and it doesn't have to be money. It can be obedience, submission, belief, worship, even your soul. And what does God demand? Total obedience, total loyalty, total worship. What exactly is he getting as value here? Nothing. Unless, of course, he just enjoys burning people forever. Which brings us to the threat. Eternal torture, which is definitely a threat of violence. By definition, that aligns perfectly with extortion.
Is that what God is doing?
Yes, that's exactly what God is doing.
No. If someone freely chooses to reject God, the source of life and goodness, and break his commandments, that's their choice.
First of all, what does reject God even mean? By not believing in him and his weekend sacrifice? Belief isn't a choice. I can't wake up tomorrow and decide to sincerely believe in unicorns. If I could, therapy would be way cheaper. Okay, so maybe it means not loving God. But can you choose who you love? Can you just flip a switch and genuinely love someone on command? If that worked, dating would be way easier. So really, rejecting God seems to mean failing to convincingly pretend to love and believe in something I have no reason to think is real. And God's response to that is, that's fine, you're free to choose. Now burn forever. Totally your call. Here's an idea. How about we remove the hellfire shotgun from the equation first? Then we can talk about free choice.
But choices have consequences. That's how reality works. Just as breaking human laws has consequences, breaking God's law has consequences too. That's not extortion, that's justice.
Consequences. Such a polite word for a horror show of eternal sadistic torment. Human laws exist to protect society. God's laws don't protect anyone, aren't proportional or rehabilitative, and serve no purpose other than obedience and worship. So who benefits here? And saying, I'm not extorting you, I'm just enforcing the rules I invented, doesn't fix the moral problem. A mob boss could say the same thing. Hey, these are the rules of the neighborhood, break them and something unfortunate happens. Power doesn't equal justice. Every tyrant in history knew that.
It's like if a mafia boss threatens to burn down my store unless I make payments. Would I be committing arson on myself when I refuse to pay up? No, of course not.
The mafia boss analogy is a bad analogy. A mafia boss demands unjust payments and punishes innocent people to maintain power.
You just perfectly described your own belief system and called it a bad analogy. God demands payment for flaws he installed, calls the debt sin, and accepts a weekend sacrifice as a solution. And he punishes people we'd consider morally innocent, people who simply don't worship him. An ungrateful son isn't a criminal, but in Christianity, straight to hell. God also asks for total obedience and worship. If that's not maintaining power, then words officially mean nothing.
But God isn't some corrupt enforcer. He's a just and loving judge who offers salvation as a free gift to sinners who have broken his laws.
Salvation is a free gift in the same way a mugger says, your wallet or your life. You're technically free to refuse, but we both know what happens if you do. A gift with a gun to your head isn't a gift, it's leverage.
Here's a better analogy. Let's say you rob a bank and you get caught.
Who is robbing banks? To rob a bank, you have to take something from someone else. What exactly have I taken from God? A more honest analogy is if you failed to sufficiently love or praise a very powerful, hidden, emotionally demanding relative you've never met. And for that, they sentence you to life in a burning basement.
You stand before the judge and he sentences you to prison. Now, is the judge at fault for your imprisonment? No. The criminal's actions led to the imprisonment. In the same way, rejecting God isn't like refusing to pay a mobster. No, it's guilty sinners rejecting the pardon God freely offers and accepting their just punishment instead.
That argument collapses instantly. Human judges punish harmful actions. Don't create defendants. Don't design their desires. Don't control the outcome. God punishes belief and doubt, created human nature, designed our flaws, controls every variable, then judges us for it. You're comparing a flawed human system for social order to an omnipotent being's system of cosmic self-glorification.
So it's not my fault when God sends me to hell for not obeying his made-up and arbitrary immoral rules.
Come on. That's like a criminal saying, it's not my fault the judge sent me to prison for not obeying his made-up rules. Yeah, it's your fault for breaking the law. God's laws aren't arbitrary. They reflect his nature, and his nature's good. He judges sin because he's just, but he also provides a pardon because he's loving. God doesn't force anyone to love him. Rejecting the source of life, love, and goodness, though, has consequences. That's not extortion. That's reality.
Okay, first you say,
God doesn't force anyone to love him.
fantastic. But if that's true, then why the hell is he threatening us with eternal torture? Because last I checked, love backed by infinite violence isn't love, it's hostage-taking. And when you say,
God's laws aren't arbitrary. They reflect his nature, and his nature's good.
that's not a moral justification, it's a tautology. You're not explaining why those laws are good, you're just saying, they're good because they come from God, and God is good because he made the laws. So let me ask this plainly. Can you produce one single defense of God's justice that wouldn't also justify a human tyrant? Because your reasoning, my rules reflect my nature, and my nature defines goodness, is the exact same script every abuser has used since the dawn of time.
But here's the good news. Anyone who turns to him finds mercy. This isn't a cosmic shakedown, it's a rescue mission, and you can take it or leave it.
Sure, technically you can leave it, but we both know what happens if you do, right? Minor detail that he forgot to mention, I guess. And calling this a rescue mission is genuinely hilarious. A rescue mission from a danger he personally designed, approved, and refuses to turn off. How about this novel idea? How about God just doesn't torture people for disbelief? Just leave people alone. So, is God an extortionist? Let's just say, the sermon sounds an awful lot like a ransom note.